harmony becomes more powerful based on its application. So, hope everyone's seeing the screen. Harmony becomes more powerful based on its application. So, as I was saying, when you know where to go, what direction you want to go with the music, what direction you want to go with the melody line, you can deviate from wherever you are, that tonal structure, the foundation, 145, adding different notes and different harmonies can help you to make the song more powerful, make the instrumentation more powerful, help to convey a different emotion than what most persons would probably convey that same song that you're playing. If that makes sense. Some notes, when placed together, require a specific destination. There's a certain force or pull, whether up or down. Energy, you know. When thinking of harmony, I think of so many different ways that harmony can come out. When we're thinking of nature, you knowing that having a fundamental or a foundation. Take for example a tree. A tree grows up, the roots grow down. Having that form of analogy to harmony helps you to know what direction you want to go with the music. There's a thing called cycle of fourths or circle of fourths, cycle of fifths. Playing them in different directions convey a different meaning. For example, C playing the cycle of fifth or C at different fifth intervals sounds like this. That sounds much different than cycle of fourth, circle of fifth. It's like the growth in both different scales or note movement sounds different. One sounds more compressed, in my opinion. One sounds more open. And that's how I would relate harmony to nature, growth, and energy. Now, emotion. Emotion. When you play certain songs, certain harmonic structures give you a certain feeling and motion. A composition can be sung or played by various persons and convey total opposite emotions and meaning. And that has been done so many times. We have people doing covers, people doing songs, and they just change the song based on how they want to arrange it, changing the progression, the movement of the song, and it just sounds totally different. Sometimes it sounds better, sometimes it's just a better version of the original, sometimes it just sounds totally different. And that depends on the structure or the harmony that you choose to implement in your composition, in your music, and that affects the entire mood of the song. You can play, let's take Mirror the Little Lamb again. And I can play the same Mary Had a Little Lamb in a more, in my composition, for example. For example, and just changing the modality of the chord of the song gives you a totally different feel of the song, and that changes the mood. Intention, it's the same thing with the intention. Having a good harmonic vocabulary helps to steer your audience in any direction you choose. So me playing that song, hearing it the first time, you get that bright feeling, you know, you listen there, that little, and everybody know it. But then changing the whole modality and tonality of the song, the chords and the harmony that you use, it just gives you a whole different outlook on how the song can sound. You know, it is as if you can manipulate human emotion and keep that interest, or you can sometimes lose it based on your interpretation of a song and the music itself. You know. So most of these things that I would have spoken about, these are just notes that I made. So just in case we would not have enough time to cover everything, I would have these notes available for persons who would want to, you know, see what was discussed and kind of get an understanding from my perspective. We spoke about telling a story and, narration, telling a story using your composition, your arrangement, choice of harmonies and chords can be more intentional than just following the rules of the music. And what that means is that we we know the rules of music. We know that certain chords don't go together, certain notes don't go together. And this is from a musician perspective now. To the average person, they might not necessarily know why it sounds bad, but they know it sounds bad. Listening to a song on the radio and you're hearing the keyboard playing, like, and then they hear somebody start out with spread your wings. Nothing is impossible, believe. And I say that doesn't sound right. As a musician, you know it doesn't sound right, but you don't know why it doesn't sound right. But as a musician, you know that all right. There's a thing. There's some structure to chords, to melodies, movements that are just playing off key. But with playing songs and not using the right chords, because as a musician you would want to know that you go to the key that the person is singing in. That's happened so many times on stage, in studio, and all of that. You just need to find that key, or the singer needs to find the key and get back on track. But you just have to know that once you are telling that story and once you're intentional with your harmonies and the chords you use, that it can affect or impact the music, even if you choose not to follow the rules of music. And when I say rules of music, knowing that sometimes we don't play a major two if we play a major one, and it depends on the song, right? Because we know that based on the diatonic structure of a scale, we have a major one, a minor two, minor three, major four, major five, minor six, so on. But we can alter that based on the progression of the song. One example of that is this song. What the song go again? Don't forget the song. Uh, Welcome into this place. As a church musician, you have to know that song here. But like, so that movement from the one to the major two works because it just works. It's like that sound is pleasing to your ear. Even keeping the same one, or if you want to move. And doing that, it's kind of showing that sometimes the rules that you might have to govern the music, you just have to know when to break them and how they can work. Doesn't necessarily have to be a major chord there, but it just works. And that's my approach to that song in particular. Lastly, what I would want to speak on is the importance of orals. Now, orals, oral has to do with the sense of hearing, what you hear and how it affects you. Just listening. That's the sense of hearing sounds. This diagram, in one way, helps me to identify how music works together with oral. How all the senses are still connected to oral, because oral for me is like one of the most powerful things, because it's like your ears can hear, your ears can. There's so many things. So let me just go through it quickly. Your eyes are windows to your soul. We've heard that before so many times. Your ears become your eyes. So what that means is that when you're hearing a song and like you want to interpret the song, or you don't know how to feel about the song, your ears is that transmitter that sends the signal to your brain, and then the emotion comes about. Sound, I mean, it goes without saying, your ears help to guide your emotion and the comprehension of the sounds around you. Smell, Now, music, as a musician, musicians love to talk about when the music are cook. And it's not necessarily the literal cooking, but when the music just sound nice and when the music are play right, the music are cook. And when a music are cook, you can't help but want some or want more. Your ear becomes your nose because when it smells something, that's when you know whether or not it appeals to you or you don't like it. The ear is like the nose for music. So you can't really smell the sound, but the ears can tell you what the sound sounds like and how appealing it is. Taste, harmony gives you that satisfaction once you allow yourself to consume it. Your ear becomes your taste bud. So this has to do with a lot of listening to music, listening to different genres, listening to how people approach harmony differently, how someone might play a song differently than how you might approach it. And the last one, touch. Emotionally and physically, there's some effect on someone who experiences harmony. Because as a musician, your fingers are like your feet. When your fingers move, they're walking, they're taking themselves on a journey. When you sing, your vocal cords help to convey that message. As a musician, your fingers. So you getting that sense of touch by playing and combining your different types of harmonies together, as the listener, they can now feel what you are trying to convey, the emotion, the expression, the journey, the destination, stuff like that. And for me, this is how all these senses, the five senses, five human senses, come together and help to make music what it is, help to make sound what it is. And as we know, the ear is what helps us mostly when we're playing music. Because sound being vibration, we have musicians who cannot see, but they can play based on the vibration. Sound, vibration. Musicians who are deaf, partially deaf, fully deaf, and it's amazing because vibration helps them to compose, create, and we still can appreciate that music, based on the dynamics that is placed in the music as well. Knowing that if the music gets loud, there's a different vibration than when it gets soft. And it just depends on your approach to music, using all your senses, combining them to make music and harmony what it is. All right. Some of the words, some of the words that were added, that were spoken of before: progression, cadences, improvisation. Now, improvisation wasn't really mentioned, and some of these because of the level at which we're discussing harmony. Improvisation has to do with your spin on a piece of music. When you have a progression working with 1 4 5, and then you have the improvisation going on based on what you want to convey over those chords. And improvisation is more advanced than just learning about basic harmony. Inversions help you to open the music, to close the music. The music feels balanced or unbalanced. For example, the C major chord, it sounds at home. It sounds like it's right in the spot where it should be. Like it doesn't need to go anywhere. However, the inversion, which is moving the root note to the top of the chord, sounds like this. And that sounds like it wants to go somewhere. So that's how inversions work. We spoke about diatonic as well, and phrasing would have to do with improvisation and chord choices and stuff like that. So that for me would be how we would understand harmony in its basic sense. I hope you were able to learn something from this presentation, some insight from understanding how a musician, especially myself, would approach harmony and get to explore and tell a story through the sound of music.